South Central region. They're led by Jacob Pyatt and Dawson Mayberry and Rylan Brown as we do our pan across the start line. Rice is here. They're ranked 7th in the South Central region, led by Elliot Metcalf and Gus Gannon. TCU, Braden Morris is their leading light. They're 12th in the South Central region. The man that I am most intrigued by, of course, is Nebraska Kearney's Wes Ferguson, hoping to get a shot of him early. He's number 502. Wes Ferguson is a 145, 46, 800 meter man, almost qualified for the USATF 800 meter final. He was disqualified in a lane violation. He otherwise would have qualified for the final. This young man was the NCAA Division II champion in the 800 in 2022 and 2023. And Carrie, you have some other information about his athletic prowess.
Well, I guess he's a great golfer, and he had to make the hard decision of being a golfer or a track star. And, he decided that he can only run fast for so long. He can golf for the rest of his life. I agree, but he can run for the rest of his life too. But he does still go home and golf, I guess, in the summers, and then turns his attention to the track and cross country, as we're going to see today.
Well, we may not see Wes Ferguson up at the front, but it was worth a shout out. He was 212th in this race last year. But I can guarantee you that Wes Ferguson absolutely has the best leg speed of anybody in this race. And Nebraska Kearney's done a really marvelous job. They're ranked 15th in Division II under Brady Bonsall in his 17th year. And I don't think we're going to see a race similar to what we saw at the Prairie Fire 8K with when Adam Buljaj just took off and was never headed from the word go.
No, I think we're going to see a bigger pack up front. And again, that's what we've talked about throughout the broadcast today. When you have a great team, this is kind of where you practice those team tactics. Sometimes you can go out and just let it rip and see where you are individually. But there are also times where coaches say, I want you all to stay together for the first mile or for the first 5K or whatever it is, and then have some fun and open it up. But we don't exactly know what each coach has told their team. But these are the times when you practice those team tactics, or you practice being an individual athlete, whether you're on a team that's going for the win or not. There's just so many different things that are happening in this race right now.
Kirami Yego, the transfer from South Alabama, is the early leader for Arkansas. He just takes a look over his left shoulder. Yego is a 13:34:50, 28:22:94 track man. He won the Sun Belt Cross Country Championships in 21 and 22 and won the Sun Belt 5,000 and 10,000 in both 2022 and 2023. He was third in the NCAA South Central region last year, 37th at the NCAA Championships, and right behind him, it's a little bit hard to tell, but it looks like Lexington Hilton on the left shoulder of Kirami Yego. Hilton, number 15, and this guy is a stud. He's ex-Arkansas State, ex-Southern Arkansas. He was third in the Chile Pepper race last year, so he's chomping at the bit with Patrick Kiprop not participating. Lexington Hilton is the number one returnee here, and he is just behind that lead vehicle. You will see him here momentarily. There he is actually, you don't see him there, sorry. You do, number 15, excuse me. So he's right on Yego's right shoulder is Lexington Hilton. We'll have splits at the 1 mile and 5.5K.
Yeah, Lexington Hilton did run this race last year unattached, but he went and ran that sub 4-minute mile, which he was trying to do, for so long indoors, and then he got hurt outdoors. So this is really his first true season as an Arkansas Razorback, and I think he's really excited. I think the team's really excited. There's a lot of guys that have mustaches out there right now. It's hard for me to tell them apart.
Yeah, so Hilton there is on number 15, if you can pick that up. Yego, number 24. and they are kind of setting the tone. But this is the first real race we've had kind of all day. I mean, yes, in that Prairie Fire women's 5K, we did have a little bit of movement between the top two, but now we got a nice, robust pack, which of course is what makes this really fun. And Yego going out, it's 88 degrees out there, so it's, I would, running an 8K, 88 degrees with some of the dust. Look at some of the dust kicking up there. It is a bit windy. And they'll be soon coming up to the 1 mile split here. They just go down a bit of an incline, a little turn here, down an incline, and then you'll see the mile marker. Actually, you see it right there. Oklahoma's packing pretty well also in that top group. So here's your leaderboard. Ben Shearer of Arkansas in third. Simon Kaladi of Western Colorado in fourth. Ruben Reyna, as you mentioned, in fifth. Elias Schremmel of Arkansas in sixth. So Arkansas 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8 with Miles Richter. A little note on Simon Kaladi, who's he's very legit runner. 13:51.79 is his 5,000 best. 3:46.45 is his 1,500 meter best. He won the Mountaineer cross country earlier this year, and he was fourth at the NCAA Division II 1,500 last year and seventh in the 5,000, 12th at the NCAA Division II cross country championships last year. So he is not, he is by all means a legit runner in the front. And look at the team standings. Western Colorado doing a number here. The Division II school right in there. They're ranked fifth in the South Central region in Division II, but they are stepping up big time here. Oklahoma having a nice run in third. What a great tight shot this is. Wow. So you see Yego there. They're all looking at their watches today, Carrie.
They are, and I think that's just the new ball game with, you knowing how fast you are going per mile when you look down at your watch. It's different, right? We didn't have that back in the day. Actually, I don't even know if we were allowed to wear watches when we ran. I think it was a rule. But yeah, I like that these guys they're going for it, and they are actually out a little slower than we saw in that first 8K today. Buljaj went out 4:35. These guys went out right around 4:40. So it's just interesting. And again, I think that's partly because there's pack running right now.
Now why is Yego taking a different track from Ben Shearer here?
Well, Ben Shearer's raced here before. Yego's not. Yego's new to the team, so I think that's part of it. And obviously they both are pretty much neck and neck, so maybe just having that gravel divide them. They don't want to be on that gravel. It's thick, it's slippery, so smart for them to be on the grass. And the grass is fast, Like I said, Dom Scott told me it's an uneven course. It's not real smooth. It's not super fast, she even said. So, surprising to see him go on the outside of that, but not surprising because this is his first time really running in a race on this course. He does practice on it, though.
And Simon Kaladi right there amidst all of the white jerseys with Razorbacks on them. Simon Kaladi right there in third. Shearer looks very good, by the way. Shearer won the Cowboy Preview cross-country meet, their first meet this year. He was third in the SEC 5,000 last year, and he was first last year in the SEC cross-country championships. Sixth, though, in this meet last year. He is a great competitor, just a sophomore. 3:42.43 1,500, 7:54.06 3,000. So he has the credentials. But Carrie, he looked so smooth and effortless there in second.
He does, and at the opener for him, he looked really good too. He did win by 8 seconds. He beat his teammate Ruben Reyna by 8 seconds, but he was confident and calm in that race, it sounds like, as well. So just at a different level. Every year that you have and every season you have under your belt, you gain that confidence. And these two are clearly working together. Yego pointing to Shearer to say, "Stay right on me, keep the pressure on." They're trying to make sure their teammates are there and working together, which is great.
There is a lot of chatter. I don't know that Shearer's saying anything, but Yego certainly is. And
Yeah.
yeah, as you pointed, as they made that turn, Yego kind of marked his. Was that a marking of the track that he wanted to take, or was it just something else?
I think it's saying get up on my shoulder. I mean, that's what you see in all these races, or if you are racing, if somebody points down sort of to their side saying, let's go, get up, here he goes again. He's trying to say, come on,
Okay,
right up on me.
that's interesting. Yeah, because at that time he actually moved his hand left to right as to say, "Hey, come on and take the
Yep.
pace from me."
I might be asking him for a little bit of help, but right now it looks like Diego is okay. Although lots of chatter, and that to me, I mean, they're well within themselves, right? Like if they
Yeah.
can do that, it's almost more like they're running at threshold pace, tempo pace, short answer pace is what that pace is. And so if he's able to kind of communicate like that, he's not going full tilt.
I don't understand why he keeps doing that with his hand when Shearer is not responding. So I mean,
Well, she
I
probably
know
is
what
getting
he's
a
trying.
little bit like, I'm trying here. I'm trying to keep it going. It's hot, and Sheer might know that he needs to stay a little bit more conservative early on. This is a long race, and we're only 10 minutes in. They still have over half of the race to go.
Yeah, and of course, this may be the first time in the 35-year history or so where that 24:16.2 run by Adam Bulldodge in the Prairie Fire, uh, that could finish quite high here, given that it is a rather conservative pace. So on the team standings, Arkansas has a very substantial lead, 73 points over Western Colorado in second, Oklahoma in third with 112, TCU in fourth with 175.
Well, Colin Anderson, when I texted him, he's there at Arkansas. He knows the team really well. He helps out with the team a little bit. He said to me, everyone is excited to see Kirami Yego run. I mean, they were waiting for this day. They know that he's been training well and he's excited to be a Razorback. So I think a lot of eyes are on him and to see how he does today. And clearly he looks like he's handling it just fine.
He sure does. He looks full of run. And now Shearer, maybe the gap has been tightened up a bit on Shearer here. Yego's sweating rather profusely, though. Tantamount to the 43% humidity and 88 degrees. But he gives the thumbs up there, Carrie. So it looks like he's just fine. He's kind of enjoying the... He's trying to help his teammates out, but he doesn't realize maybe that he's at another level for at least today.
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, there's still a long ways to go, like I said, but I think that he's just somebody that understands the excitement that he brings to the show as well. I mean, I'm sure just by seeing people or hearing people yell for him, this is an exciting day for him. I'm sure that he's been wanting to put this uniform on and get out there and show what he's all about. He wants to be on this team. He made that commitment to transfer and to come and race in Fayetteville for Arkansas. So I'm sure he's living it up, and he might have a little bit more riding on this race than some of the other guys.
So Kirami Yego looking so smooth. He's 24 years old, from Kenya. 13:34.50, 5K PR coming into this season. That's probably going to be exploded if he looks this good during track season. Also, that 28:22 is likely to become a sub 28. He looks so smooth, but he is quite the character, it seems. Carrie, he talking to some people in the crowd, doing thumbs up, signaling for his teammates to come up, looking at his watch. He's rather lively out there.
Well, on a day like today when it is so blistering hot like it is there, sometimes just having a little distraction is good. And I mean, clearly he's not running as fast as he possibly can, but that's okay. I mean, keeping like that heart rate down, keeping your body temperature down, enjoying yourself out there. I mean, he's doing his job, right? He's leading this race. He's not faltering yet. I mean, he still has a little bit of time to go, but he looks good. And I think that's what the point is right now. I'm sure that Bucky, the coach, their coach there, Chris Bucknam, is just saying, go out there, run hard, and bring home a win.
So last year, Sinelli Masando from Colby Community College, he won in 23:18.4. He passed through the first mile in 4:30. And as we know, this first mile was much slower. So it'd be interesting to compare the 5.5 kilometer split, which is the next split coming up.
Yeah, what did Bull Judge go through in his
4:35. He went through in 4:35, and Kirami Yego went through in 4:40. And you can see the double box with the beautiful Hoka logo there. And Yego in front, and then all the runners, and every runner matters, because even though 5 score, your 6th and 7th runners, or your 8th and 9th runners when it comes to Arkansas, can push everybody else's runners but further back. So it's really a critical element that everybody matters. Well, and his best intentions was to drag his teammates along, Carrie, but Kirami Yego seems at this point to say, hey, all right, I'll just do it myself then.
Yeah, Nick, that becomes part of the race, right? Whether you're trying to run as a team or not. I'm sure that coach wanted them all to try to stick together, but clearly they couldn't stick with him today. He was trying, he was waving them up. Ben Shearer might be playing it safe and saying, okay, I'm not quite ready to run how Yego's running today, but they're working as a team and they're there together. Here we go through, I think that's the 5.5K.
5.5,
mark.
yeah. Now, it's a slower than it was last year. Last year they ran 15:35.1 at that intermediate point. And this year it is still waiting to get that result. And there it is. So just about 5 seconds slower. Shearer in second. Ruben Reina having a nice performance here in third. Kaladi, who you see right now in picture, is in fourth. And then you see the battle between Kidus Missinga of Trinidad State and Elias Schrummel of Arkansas. I'd say one concerning thing for the Razorbacks, Miles Richter in seventh, Lexington Hilton nowhere to be found. Oh, there he is. Now there's Lexington Hilton. He is struggling a bit there, further back. Trinidad State with 5th and 9th here. Kidus Missinga is a very classy athlete. Has some excellent credentials himself. He was originally supposed to be in that first race, but they bumped Trinidad State up. And Missinga is a 14:28.29 5,000, 29:45 69 10,000 for Trinidad State College, which is the #1 junior college team in the country. And Missinga was second at the Joe Vigil Cross Country Championships earlier this year. Third in the Junior College National Championships at 5K and fourth at the 10K. So you can see Western Colorado currently in second. Incarnate Word is in third. Arkansas State fourth. Oklahoma slipped back to fifth. Of course, the precincts are still reporting in here. Nebraska Kearney. I'm very curious as to how our 800-meter man, Wes Ferguson, is doing. I'm sure he's trying to beat that 212th he got from last year.
I love that he's running cross country though. I mean, it just builds so much strength and grit and determination to run the middle distances. And there's a lot of great athletes that, you know, do cross over and do both. We're seeing that now more so than probably even back in the day when I was racing. But Yego, all alone, look at him.
Yeah, and getting back to Wes Ferguson, what I saw at the national championships, Carrie, despite that disqualification, this young man had moxie. He was a Division II athlete going up and competing against professionals, and he was not at all intimidated. And that's why I think Wes Ferguson has a legit shot to make the U.S. Olympic team in the 800 this coming summer. Remember that name. And you're right about Yego. You know, he had a 15-second lead at that 5.5K mark over Shearer and Ruben Reina.
But every time I hear the name Ruben Reina, you know,
I
Ruben
think of the other
Reina
one.
from the 90s still owns the
Yes.
record for Foot Locker. I mean, so fast.
And he went to Arkansas. That Ruben Reyna also went to
Uh-huh.
Arkansas. And he had a
Yep.
brother, right? Randy Reyna? Yeah.
Just phenomenal athletes. Here's that final push now for Yego, and this is where he needs to just see how tough he can be. You know, it's hot. You look at him. You can see all the sweat on him. His jersey's it's wet. It's clinging to him, but yet he's still looking at that watch and he's still trying to get to the finish line as fast as he can. Not looking back. He's not waving anyone on now. It's all him.
Al, look back
Oh,
there.
he just
Not
moved
much
back.
to see.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what they say? Move it
He heard
along.
me.
Not much to see here. Yeah. So he's got about 3.5 minutes left in this race, depending on how hard he wants to push himself. But Carrie, he's the type of guy that could be a top 15, top 20 individual at the NCAAs.
I mean, I think so. I think that he's committed and he's at a program where they have such history. And anytime you go to a program like Arkansas, you want to be a name that's on the wall, on the list. And I think that that's something that really drives athletes when they go to a storied program like Arkansas has.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to the whole athletic department at Arkansas for doing such a marvelous job in supporting the program through the years that they have. Extraordinary. You know, they always say the fish stinks from the head, but also it's the opposite too. That when you have a great head, it makes everything else smell like roses, and that's what they've done here at Arkansas in supporting greatly their cross country and track programs. So you can see, we can actually see our second place runner, which could be Ben Shearer back there. You could see in that long straightaway where he was. Getting a little shade here before he takes that turn for home. Yego, when I say top 15, top 20 finisher at the NCAAs, he was 37th last year for South Alabama, so it's not a stretch at all.
Yeah. But this is where he needs to really practice that. You know, he's got the crowd to take him through. He's excited to finish up. This is where he needs to practice the finish, because at the NCAAs, that's really where you see a lot of changing happen. It's in that last K. And so for him to really practice and to visualize and to get excited about being one of the best in the US or the best in the world, you need to be able to really close. And so I hope that he's thinking about that right now, and he's working on that, not only in races, but in your final Ks or your final, reps in practice, like telling yourself you belong and you need to be able to be strong over that final 800, 1K. That's really what separates you from the pack.
He keeps looking at his watch. Curious, when in these cross-country races, because there's not a lot of mile markers. But look, he looks at the watch again and again, and he is picking up his tempo here. It's fairly visible that he's picking up his tempo, and he knows he's got this kind of final turn where, and I hope we get that shot from the runner space lead vehicle, so you can see right here, you can see the finish line. You see that right there?
Yep.
That's the finish straightaway, and that's a great bird's eye view of that finish straightaway, what the runners are looking at. And here comes Kirami Yego in an Arkansas uniform for the first time, and he is going to be the 2023 Chile Pepper Festival champion in the John McDonnell 8K. Congratulations to him. And here comes Ben Shearer, not too far behind.
Closed well. It feels like he had a good last little bit of the race here. And they
agree,
are running decently fast. Last year, like you said, it was, 10 degrees, 14 degrees cooler, and they're all finishing about the same times as last year.
Yes, 23:14.1 for Yego, 4:40 pace. And You can see our Western Colorado runner now coming through. He had a tremendous race today. Simon Kaladi, the junior, finishing third, breaking up that sea of red and white. And then in fourth, that is Elias Schremmel, the German athlete for Arkansas. And I misspoke. Missinga was third for Trinidad State, excuse me. That's a great performance for Missinga for that junior college ranked
Yes.
#1 in the country. Wow. Ruben Reyna in fifth, Miles Richter in sixth, Kaladi in seventh, and Gideon Kimitai made a great move through the latter parts of the race. He finished eighth for Missouri Southern. And Kimitai, he was actually seventh in this race last year and 15th in 2018. But more importantly, Kimitai was the fourth place finisher in the NCAA Division II, all the way back, Carrie, in 2018, and then fifth in 2019. He's finally a senior. A nice performance by Braden Morris there in 16th for TCU. Ryland Brown from Arkansas State, finishing 19th. Ryland Brown was 142nd here last year. So that is a big, big improvement for Ryland Brown. Miles Richter for Arkansas, he was the fifth runner for the Razorbacks, and he was sixth this year. He was second back in the Chile Pepper in 2021, 19th last year, so an improvement from last year. Gus Gannon really moved up a lot too, the Rice freshman. He was well down in the early parts of the race. This young man ran 3:46.52 for 1,500 this year and was eighth in the Conference USA as a freshman. A nice run for that freshman. Gus Gannon in 12th. Tyler Nord, Western Colorado #2 behind Kaladi. That great 1-2 punch for the Division II team. Nord a 3:49.66. 1,500 meter man, also a freshman, and he finished 15th. We mentioned Braden Norris in 18th, Ryland Brown in 21st, and then Ryland Brown dragged across a couple of his teammates, Dawson Mayberry in 24th and Cash Kunkel in 25th. So a good packing there, at least amongst the first three by Arkansas State. The veteran Kevin Baez from Tarleton State in 27th. Jacob Pyatt from Arkansas State, who's typically their best runner, he was 34th. But Arkansas State packed well. Right now, looks like they may be in fourth place.
Wow, the Arkansas 15 points, they've got to be pretty excited about. Well, 18 points now as they updated it. They must be pretty excited about that.
Absolutely.
A lot of the teams are getting ready maybe to go to pre-nats, which is coming up. Nationals will be at UVA for Division I this year.
I'm sure our friend Vin Lanana is quite pleased to be hosting that event.
Yeah,
Supposed
and
to be
then
an
is it
excellent
at
course.
Madison next year? I think it's at UW next year in Madison. So there's another Nutty Combs coming up. So like all the big races now are starting to get going, and athletes are getting serious, as we saw today.
Carrie, Incarnate Word has had a monster day here. Didn't talk much about them, but they have really brought it here. They are going to finish probably here in third place with 133 points, led by Griffin Neal in ninth. the junior, and Alexander Fedasan, who finished 16th, also a junior. This is a really big performance by Incarnate Word.
They got to be excited about that. I mean, when they have a big day like that, you got to take that energy and keep it going and just fuel yourself with it. You know, that's the thing. Like, we are so hard on ourselves as runners that we don't celebrate the highs, and they need to take this result and be excited about it.
That should get them a ranking next, or the week after next. They do them every other week, or maybe they do them every week. So next week, that'll get them, that's going to get them into a regional ranking for sure.
A couple unattached runners coming through too. And we're going to see athletes all weekend that are, you know, the kids all the way up to the open races. This is a big festival of not just collegiate athletes and high school athletes. It's kind of the whole gamut.
Yeah, junior high athletes as well. We'll be here on Runner Space bright and early tomorrow to cover all of that. There are a lot of different divisions here at the Chile Pepper. We have the El Caliente races for the high school boys and girls, and then the junior high races. So a lot of good stuff tomorrow. So, Carrie, one interesting item, just to follow up with you. So, Adam Gold-Jodge, who won the Open Division in that, or won the Prairie Fire Open Division, 24-16. So, if he had run that race in the McDonald, he would have finished 7th. But he had a lot of, he certainly had a lot left, I think. And here's a guy that just, with a poor, bad hamstring, it looks like, still finishing the race.
Yeah, I think that it's you know, a lot of cramping going on for some of these athletes when it's this hot. And you know what? It's a different time of day too for a lot of these athletes. Maybe they practice in the afternoon, but some of them practice early in the morning. So it's a long day to figure out your hydration and your fueling, and it's good for us to mix it up, right? But there's a lot of factors that go into racing, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, Gold-Jodge had such a great race, and fun to see that he would have lined up really well in this race as well. And I'm sure he would be excited about that. Had he had someone on his shoulder, probably would have gone a little faster.
Yeah, I agree. And somebody to push him, no doubt about it.
Yep.
So just, you know, kind of picking up a little bit from what you said before. So tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, the El Caliente Heat 1 5K begins, and then the El Caliente Heat 2, followed by the senior high boys El Caliente 1 and 2, and then the senior high open division boys and girls, and then the junior high girls and boys. And so we get started at 9 a.m. Central Time, and we close at about 1:45 Central Time.
It's going to be a fun day. I love seeing all the different athletes, you know, and when they're younger and seeing how they get out hard or they finish super hard, you know, that crazy kick that a lot of the younger athletes have, all the way up to the open races, seeing older athletes compete even as they get older and they mature a little bit more through the sport. But this is fun. I'm sure they're all out. I can hear the music, like I'm dancing to the music. So I'm sure the fans are enjoying it, and you know, the medical staff is so important, and all of the volunteers. It's been a great day already, but you have a whole nother day tomorrow, Tom.
Yeah, I wish you were joining me, Carrie.
I'm sorry.
I'm mad at you right now.
I wish I could, but I am going to be at other running events, and you know, they're equally as exciting.
So let's take a look at the team scores probably as close to finals we're going to get. A terrific performance by Arkansas, and Chris Bucknam's got to be happy with that. Western Colorado, the Division II powerhouse, finishing in second. Incarnate Word, a really big breakthrough there in third for them. Arkansas State fourth, and Oklahoma fifth. So Kerry Tollefson taking the whole day into perspective. Kind of what are your thoughts?
Well, I just loved seeing Chloe Bird and Peyton Noe kind of running the same race. They got out hard. They were in second till right about halfway through their races, and then they had such powerful moves and they finished strong. But I think one of the highlights of the day was watching Yego just control that race in the John McDonald race here that